Hi hat fans. This video is going to give you the vocabulary that you need to talk about hats using the correct terminology. I'm a big fan of vocabulary and using the right words for the things I'm talking about. I'm just as guilty as everybody else of occasionally saying whatchamajig and thingamadoodle, so don't worry if you don't get all of these down to start with, but it's good to use the right words for the things that you're talking about. So I have this hat here as a demo to talk you through some terms that you need to know. So there's two parts to a hat that is shaped like this. And that's the crown, which is this chamber that your head goes into, sticking my head into the crown. And then the brim, which is this flange that comes out from the crown to shade your eyes. Crown, brim, two parts of a hat that's shaped like this. Now the crown in this particular case has this top part here. It's called the tip, and this cylinder that's the side of the shape is called the side band. So if you were making a hat like this, this one is spiral straw, but if you were making one out of a flat material like buckram or flat felt, and you were going to sew a seam to create this sort of top hat shape to the crown, you would need a tip piece and a rectangle for the side piece. Now, if you wanted your crown shape to be a conic section instead of a short cylinder like this, then your side band would be shaped more like a smile. But you'd still have a side band and a tip to make up your crown. Now the brim, let's talk about that, because especially if you're working again in flat media, if you're making a fabric covered buckram hat, then you may want to have two different materials on the top and the bottom so that maybe there's a contrast fabric down here around the base as a design element. And so that's why we call the top part of the brim the over brim and the bottom part of the brim the under brim. So when you cut it out in fabric, you cut one piece of your fashion fabric for the over brim and another piece that may be the same type of fabric, or it may be a contrast, for your under brim. So crown, brim, tip, side band, over brim, under brim. That's where we're at so far. Another word that's useful to know is this oval where you put your head into the crown of the hat is called the head size opening. So I'm sticking my head into the head size opening when I put this hat on. And you can see inside of this hat, there's a grosgrain that goes around that head size opening. And sometimes that's called the grosgrain. Sometimes it's called the sweatband. And millinery grosgrain is a specific kind of material, so you can press it into a little bit of curvature so that it sits nicely inside of there. If you use craft grosgrain that's made from like polyester and has a woven straight edge on it, it won't sit down in there nicely like this. It'll be sort of wavy and not as sleek looking as when you use a rayon or cotton millinery grosgrain like this. So to recap: crown, brim, tip, side band, over brim, under brim, head size opening, the grosgrain or the sweatband. So those are some basic words you can use to talk about hats and sound like you know what you're talking about, because you're using words that are kind of intuitive. I mean, once you hear what they are, you're like, okay, tip, side band, that makes sense. And now you know what those words are. So thanks for watching my video on hat vocabulary, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.